Hello and welcome to Blue Water Platinum. Tonight we have a Conduit versus Conduit game on the line, where Conduit Coinflip is going to be taking on Conduit Gremlins. I'm your host for the evening, your local casting cowboy Korak, joined of course by Pella on color and Sirius on production. Let's dive right in, my friends.
How are you guys going? So, I did my minimal amount of research before this game has started. Both of these Conduit teams right now, both 1-0 in the series score, both 2-0 in their game score. So, looking to keep that hot streak alive. And like we touched on at the top just a second ago, it is the Conduit Civil War. So, more than just your record on the line, maybe a little bit of bragging rights going back into the Discord server. Hopefully, one
Definitely
team
a
is
lot
able
of
to take that
ribbing
away.
I've got to expect in the background. Definitely a lot of ribbon. If you know the team and you run into them, Conduit, I've seen them fight each other multiple times across multiple different leagues, and I always think it's funny. I do kind of wish that I had access to some of their comms in order to look at some of that. I just like to see the trash talking, even if I can't talk about it on camera. At the very least, I'm a bit of a gossip, so I like to see some of the spiciness because it comes out in a couple of these fights, especially when you have these civil wars.
Yeah, just being a little fly on the wall in the server
Mhm.
would sound amazing. But of course, BOL Plat Knight. So looking over some of these teams, I don't know if you recognize some of these names. Some of them I do. I last played in Plat maybe 2 splits ago, so I recognize some names here: Killer Fox, Narva, Mr. Lean. Some new names that I don't really know as well. So I'm excited to see how they play as we are getting started into draft here. Ash and Zeri already taken off the board.
Zeri, a little bit surprising for me. I don't typically see her down in platinum, but this might be more of a targeted ban. I do think that almost no matter what the meta is, if you run into somebody who's just good with Zeri, she can be an absolutely pain to deal with. I do like what Gremlins is doing right here. And just for quick posterity, Gremlins is going to be on blue side, and Coinflip is on red side, at least for this current game. But two very powerful picks are already gone right now. We've got Ash Seraphine, in my opinion, is the strongest combination in the game, and the close second right behind that is Nami Corki. So both of those are already off the table. You can pick them one without the other to where they're still powerful, but you're losing a lot of punching weight, I feel. So I feel like we're very targeted, at least for the meta right now. Next pick is going to be LeBlanc. LeBlanc also makes a lot of sense for being right about the skill level. LeBlanc is a lot like a Mumu, to where she can fare very well in low elo almost no matter what.
I will give some peering into behind the curtain here. The ADC for the side of Conduit Gremlin, their tag is hashtag Zeri. So maybe they've done their research a little bit, looking to the hashtags, seeing hashtag Zeri. I think they may like it. As we see Smolder locked in here first, I am not a big fan of Smolder Blind. I feel like it just does not have a good early laning phase, and you can pick a lot of ADCs in early, like a Lucian Milio combo, another really good combo in the bot lane right now to sort of punish that weak laning phase. We'll see if Conduit Coinflip choose to go that direction, or maybe they just try to stay safe and scale. Jinx is always very popular in leagues like this, but we'll see what direction they decide to go. Right now, it's going to be a brand lock-in. So technically, this could be a triple flex between jungle, mid, and support. I'm expecting it probably jungle or mid. I haven't seen brand support in a little while, but we'll see
So
where that eventually ends up.
I'll actually push back on that. As a support player,
You're gonna push
right
support?
about right about the diamond level. I love brand support. If I'm ever stuck in low elo and I want to climb, Brand is an excellent resource to do that. If you're worried about damage, Brand is a great resource for that. I'm also going to disagree with you on Smolder, at least because, but sure, I agree, the laning phase is bad. But if the laning phase isn't catastrophic, Smolder gives you something in the same way Sivir does. It gives you something to look forward to. It gives you an investment later on. And it also can free up your support to get some roaming on. Something I do not like, though, that we're picking blind is we've got Dr. Mundo. Dr. Mundo, for me, is one of my biggest pet peeves picking blind, because Dr. Mundo still, to this day, needs two important things in order to be impactful in the game. He needs a bigger health bar than you, and he needs a bit of a gold lead. And if you can see him and you can counter for that, especially if he's top lane, you can really sort of begin to affect that. I feel like that is mitigated a little bit if he does end up going to the jungle, though.
And we see Udyr locked in as a response. I'm not sure. I know it's a streamer who popularized the Udyr counterpick into Dr. Mundo, but if you go that Q max, if it is Mundo top and you take the Udyr top, it absolutely shreds Dr. Mundo. As we see, we're going to see Singed lock in here. A very uncommon pick. I mean, Udyr and Singed, both pretty uncommon in their own rights, and they're going to be combined here on the side of Conduit Gremlins on their 2-3.
Yeah, I do like the utility for it. I've seen a lot of weird picks recently, especially in my own draft league, where a lot of people seem to favor not necessarily comfortability, but utility, right? And I think at the end of the day, Singe still has the same utility they have almost had. They can still proxy, they can still flip, they can still help out a lot of the teams. So I don't think it's the weirdest thing, and especially if you've got Singe flipping people into Udyr. Udyr is very, very scary. Of course, Udyr wants to get in range. Singe can help facilitate that in a couple of different ways. There's a lot of different tools that he can play with, and if he's worried about playing into a top lane, you could just sort of ignore playing the top lane entirely and do sort of a long-winded version of what Malzahar does, except with from a proxy perspective.
Little important update on that as well. They did change how quests work in the top lane. So now you are able to proxy a little bit farther and actually get progress towards your top lane quest XP. Before you had to be behind a certain part of lane. I believe it's that bush in between first and second tower in the top lane on that red side to actually get the XP towards your quest, but that received a little bit of a buff, so a little bit of a cinch buff, and I think interesting ban from Conduit Gremlins here. They're going to ban out the Gwen. It's a pretty common counter pick into the Mundo as well, but you know, maybe you already have your top jungle locked with Singed and Udyr, you just don't want to try to face against it right now. And we see on the other side, Morgana is taken away, not wanting to Black Shield. We do have pretty good CC with Lissandra and a little bit of Brand CC as well as we hit that Q with our passive. Ornn is going to be the ban here for the side of Conduit Coinflip, and now we're just waiting on the last ban for Gremlin. So right now, 2 top laners taken out and a support.
Yeah, Morgana gone, Ornn gone, and then of course Gwen waiting for our last one. And the more we look at this, this seems to be shaping up to be Brand support is my guess. I have seen Brand ADC. I think there are better APCs in the bot lane, especially with the fact that we have Mel available. Mel is so powerful. I don't think she's particularly difficult to play. I think really the only tricky thing is people underestimate her solar snare, which is of course is the snare that she shoots out, and how powerful a tool that needs to be for facilitating a lot of these fights. But other than that, like Mel's not a hard one to play. They're good in the bot lane. They have enough range to where I feel like Brand, one of the biggest things they struggle with is their range. So, you know, this could still go either way. If this is Brand support between Brand and Lissandra and Dr. Mundo, this could be a lot of potential damage coming in and a little bit of isolation. So it looks like it's not going to be the Brand support, possibly ADC, possibly jungle, because we picked up the Nautilus.
I mean, a lot of CC stacking for the side of Conduit Coinflip, but here's the problem right now. All of your damage is majority AP. So itemization coming out from the side of Conduit Gremlins, if they do pick up a super tank on this 4-5, you know, maybe get a Leona for that W plus Aftershock tankiness. It's going to be really hard to try to shred through her during the late game. Right now, we're going to see the Mbessa locked in. So now I'm a bit confused on where everyone is going. Are we? Do you think we're going to see the Mbessa mid as a pick into Lissandra? I can't imagine that would be a really comfortable matchup for her.
It's not the worst, at least on paper, when you think about it, right? Because one of the biggest reasons Mbessa is so popular and so powerful in the meta is because the meta in top lane and jungle, at the very least, is favoring sort of these skirmishers, these, you know, hey, we hit level 6 and now we destroy you kind of sort of champions, especially why that's one of the big reasons why you'll see them go into the jungle. And the fact that Mbessa is a skirmisher kind of means that she can almost go anywhere, because even if you have a bad matchup, if you were able to skirmish and go sort of back and forward, kind of like Renekton, Mbessa's perfectly fine at it. But if you're able to skirmish back and forward, then you can sort of mitigate a lot of those issues. And Mbessa, once the lane phase breaks through, will be a good tool for facilitating a lot of these fights. And I do like the utility that we're looking in as we lock in Tom Kench here in the background. And for those of you watching, by the way, the ban that was last rolled through is, of course, going to be the Jinx. And to round everything out, we're going to get Yone.
So Yone pick on 5 here. I imagine it's going to be the Yone top and flexing that Mundo into jungle. The real question for me on Conduit Gremlin is who is going to find themselves in this mid lane. It could be Sinch, could be Mbessa, maybe on a very rare occasion we see Udyr. But it's a very creative comp coming out from Conduit Gremlins. And on the side of Conduit Coinflip, you have a very strong click R comp. What if we all dive in with our ults and just CC them up? Hopefully they can't react and they just explode.
Yeah, I did mention how powerful just utility can be just by itself. Gragas is not a particularly powerful top laner, just at least on paper, but I have seen teams pick him up and play him from a utility perspective. I've heard a lot of people argue with the Gragas jungle. I feel like Gragas jungle is a little bit stronger, but it's still same thing. The utility is very, very powerful. And oftentimes when it comes to this, utility and comfortability can oftentimes win you games, especially when you are below the diamond level. We won't know though until the rubber meets the road. Make sure to grab yourself some drinks and some refreshments. We're going to roll into a small little break as the spectator delay rolls down, but don't go anywhere because we'll be right back.
Summoner's Rift.
Hello and welcome back to game number 1 between Conduit Gremlin and Conduit Coinflip. We're already starting for a little bit of spiciness inside the mid lane as we've got a bit of a triple stack. Udyr maybe potentially not knowing this. This could be an easy Q and an easy hook. We do miss him right there at the end, and there's going to be a flash already. Not even a minute on the clock, and the jungler is down a flash.
Well, good news is Batman survived the hand check. The bad news is he did have to use his flash to survive it. So it does put Udyr in a little bit of an early hole, as we do see the Singe going to be flexing into the mid lane, and Mbessa is going to be sent top into the Yone. I actually have seen... I've played on a team with Singe mid before. It's pretty uncommon, but the hope of it is to sort of survive that early game. And then once you're able to get towards that level 6, you can sort of just walk down any caster that is in your lane. The problem is, Lissandra does have a lot of CC once he gets level 6 with that ult and the W. So we're going to see how effective that Singe is actually going to be at running down his lane opponent. So we just see trading right now in the bottom lane. Early push from the side of the Brand and the Nautilus getting towards that level 2. And that's how mid lane is going to go as we hover over it. Lissandra is permanently going to have this push. She will be pushed up all of lane. It's really up to Sin to try to find these little holes where he can get the flick back and that little bit of chip.
Yeah, and I think that the notion for Singe is back to like utility, like I was talking about before. Singe will more than likely end up losing that lane overall. But the biggest thing going for them is if Udyr does show up, we can just sort of like toss Lissandra into tower. Lissandra has a couple tools to get out of it, but Singe also has plenty of tools to sort of get in range. And Singe can essentially leave lane when he needs to. He gets a couple levels, he gets a little bit of movement speed, he goes to visit a lane. Ooh, the world in a little bit of trouble as he flashes over the safety. We get a double flash there as Mbessa goes in, looking for the damage, still can go either way, and Yone actually turns it around for the first blood. Things are looking grim, but it looks like we had the damage and the hand difference already.
You thought you could cheese me with exhaust top lane. You will not get me, says the world. Amazing shield coming out from that Yone W, just giving him just barely enough health to survive the trade, and the ignite ticking down the whole time. It's going to be an early lead to that Yone. First back already with a recurve bow and a dagger in the inventory. So makes that Q even more powerful, makes his trading patterns even more powerful. Mbessa only got a longsword and a control ward. So that solo kill definitely going to turn the favor in that lane. So we see again, bot lane pushing out. That is Mei as Smolder on the ADC, just in case anyone does not know, as we have a gank in topside.
Ooh, the world in a bit of trouble, already starting off with a bit of advantage, and then here comes the gank, but we still have to stick the landing. I think both of them backed off, looking for the kill, and no way, we just walk away from this? That's absolutely devastating. And speaking of ganks, it looks like Dr. Mundo is paying a visit to the bot lane, but we still have Tom Kench here. Tom Kench is not really too scared of that. And something I was going to mention beforehand is the world getting that early kill is super great for him. Yone oftentimes struggles in the early games, especially against a powerhouse like Mbessa. On paper, Mbessa should win that 9 times out of 10, and the fact that such a powerful champion has already lost that is a bit devastating. It looks like Dr. Mundo is sticking around here as we're going to get a double flash in there. Unfortunately, we don't have the root, but I'm not sure it's going to matter. We try to go back in. We have a shield to buy us a little time as Batman tries to buy a little more time on the other end, and somehow we're still alive. This 2v3 is turned into a 2v2, but the damage on Brand and Nautilus are just doing too much. Nautilus, Mr. Lean, getting stuck here in the background, taking so many shots from Udyr. Smolder picking up a second kill. Our score rolling 2-2. And there's some really scary people fed so far on each team. This Smolder is definitely accelerated.
You're talking about Yone maybe struggling a little bit in the early matchup in Mbessa. Smolder normally struggles in that early matchup as well, but now he has 2 kills in his pocket. And we see that sort of weakness when you're running the AP caster in your bot lane. Really heavily relies on your spell cooldowns, and in the extended trades that happened in that 3v3, just not able to match the damage that the Smolder is able to give out. A great rotate by Batman as well, shadowing bot lane off of his reset, sort of knowing that Mundo would come back, and really good punish is now kills are evened up 2-2 in the world, goes straight back to fighting, and so is mid.
speaking of kills, we've got a 2v2 in the bot lane as it looks like Sandra's able to go with a bit of damage now, trying to lock down the Singe with 1 or 2 more shots, but it looks like we're going to do a flash to safety. A bit more reinforcements. This does turn into a 3v3, but Tahm Kench does not have the HP to continue this. Just waiting for one hook. That's all we need to get this last little bit of a kill, and we're just going to bite it out. Unfortunately, we do not manage to get out. Tahm Kench having to blow a flash on the other side as Brand sticks a stun in the bot lane, and another W. This Smolder, despite being 2 kills up, we keep forgetting how much damage Brand does in a bot lane. But now our score, Pelly, sitting at 2-3 at about 6 minutes.
I think it's a bit of a mistake from Conduit Gremlins to try to play around their mid lane, had the Tahm Kench coming hovering off base, but your mid lane just does not do damage early as the Singe. You just do not have the damage to ever follow up on a true gank. What you really want to do as the Singe is leverage that ghost to try and get roams. You don't want to be the one played around, you want to play around your team. And I mean, this Singe is really good farm in lane. Is up about 15 farm against his lane opponent, so at least keeping up in gold, a little bit ahead because this didn't even get an assist. More trading in the top lane. Mac's going to be dropped, but yeah, they're just fine. It's okay.
An important tool, though, went down. If you notice, the Ignite popped down on Mbessa. The fact that Mbessa got out with an Ignite there is not super great for the world. Overall, like, the reason why meta is meta and the reason why you don't see Yone top typically is because Mbessa works more consistently. It's not that Yone cannot work. So every little bitty advantage the world gets his hands on, he needs to move forward and he needs to continue to capitalize on it. And this is a good way to do it. We've got Singed here now looking for a bit of damage, looking for a bit of that's early harass as Batman takes a whole bunch of shots here. I didn't even realize this on the other side. Yone picking up 1 kill on his end, looking for another one. Singed trying to make him chase him through the waves, buying some time, but he's running out of room really quickly, trying to play this Tron retreat, but it's just not enough. Okay, we have just a little bit of time. We're not going to go for the fight. We were able to pick up 1 kill, though, so even though the Singe did not go down because of the kiting, we still picked up another kill, and that brings another unpredictable top lane, or unpredictable champion with another little bit of kill. He's now sitting at 2-0, just like the Smolder, mirroring the other side. Our score now 2-4, but it looks like we've just thrown the script completely out the window, Pelly.
Yeah, we have. We see. I said what Sin should do. He should take his early wave push and rotate, and he did it into the top lane, but top laner wasn't there. It was just the Udyr, and again, not enough damage, and it's a great outplay by the world on the back, able to get 1 kill without even going down, and now that lead is ballooned even more, already having the Berserker's Greaves in his back pocket. I mean, it may start to get out of hand for the world. He has flashback up as well, so any ganks, any future ganks from Batman aren't going to be as effective.
And I do appreciate the thought process, right? Trying to get that little bit of advantage. Speaking of that advantage, now we're having to blow a flash here on Smolder. There's going to be the ultimate for Brand. So that's going to be 2 tools down, and Smolder is able to escape, but now he's a bit more vulnerable. We still have Flap, 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 which of course is, I believe, his E, his ability to get away. So that is something to play with. Singed and Lissandra playing a little bit. Looks like we were able to prime that for that retreat as we try to get the Void Grubs here in the background. Void Grubs not, of course, being one of the strongest objectives. It's gotten pretty weak. It's fallen by the wayside, but they do have Dr. Mundo, who at the end of the day is going to fare quite well with that one. And I do like what we've got going here. There's a lot of great thought processes as these fights roll through, and unfortunately we're going to pick up stun after stun. This Brand ADC doing a lot of work, but so is Mother going to get called in. The Ignite coming down on Brand as he does get 1 kill, but Smolder gets the execute right there at the end. 1-for-1 trade, but in the favor of Smolder. Things are not looking good for bot lane, and speaking of not looking good, the world continuing to trade into Abessa. The CS 53-72 kills on that Yone, so kind of a night and day difference between these 2 different top lanes. And one of the biggest things I want to point out here is Smolder is constantly building up stacks. Ooh, ultimate there for safety for the world, as it looks like Dr. Mundo is here for a little bit of a fight. I'm not sure we want to take this into Udyr. We're just going to sort of take free damage, but we still have an ultimate if we really want to play this for the long end of things. But our score now 3-5, 10 minutes on the clock, and still no Drake, surprisingly.
Yeah, no Drake picked up yet, and we see how good the Brand is with that poke in the bot lane, but in those all-ins, on a Gamer Girl on the Tahm Kench, you know, went in at under half health. Both ADC and support were both full health on the other side, but they're still able to trade out 1-for-1. It just shows how much power Smolder has with these early kills, already finishing the Essence Reaver. Brand has not finished his first item yet. So now we're going to be setting up the Drake. Mr. Lean taking out some wards, but he's going to be caught by a Tom Kench here.
Tom Kench might run into a bit of trouble of his own as we start to do a bit of a collapsing. Brand does back off just in time. The world now continuing to really pressure top lane over and over and over. And there is a pretty massive difference in gold difference right here. Tom Kench walking into Brand over and over and over, taking just a staggering amount of damage. But hopefully we can maintain that. It looks like Brand does have an ultimate. So if we do try to sort of fight here for this late Drake, then I think we've got a lot of tools on red side in order to facilitate that happening in our favor, because Drake's going to be looking to bunch up. And the fact that Brand's been able to get so many W combos and stuns off before this pops out, it looks like that is going to be enough to pressure them off the Drake, which means this is a good opportunity for red side to go in. Ooh, and Bessa maybe going to run in a bit of trouble as the world starts a fight and once again starts to push this top laner out of lane. And we just barely get close enough to get in that last little shot. Dr. Mundo showing up here on top of the Singed, now going for a little bit of tower dive. Just needs 1 or 2 more shots, and we do take him down there right there at the end. Singed really struggling to find some sort of purchase, and this is something I wanted to mention. If you're going to play off meta, you need to get some early advantages. You need to turn that into something that you need, and that's not what we're getting with Sin. Singed for the first almost 12 minutes of the game has provided next to nothing. We have no KP, we have no weird silliness, we have no subverting expectations. We're just sort of getting destroyed in the mid lane, but it's still anyone's game. This Smolder getting fed and continuing to get fed is still scary, but the same thing with Yone. Yone is so great at turning these team fights around, and if anyone can kill this Smolder, it is going to be the Yone. Public execution popping down there in the background. Unfortunately, though, for Mbessa, it is going to be a bit of a whiff.
Oh, here comes the all-in.
Nice. Mother going to get called in. Unfortunately, hitting no one, but we do not need it. We've got plenty of stacks here in Smolder to do absolutely rack up the damage. And this is one of the reasons why it's such a struggle for Brand. Not only does Brand have a shorter range, right? Sure, you can make the argument that, like, yeah, his stun combo, his Q has decently long range, but you need to prime it with something else. The world finally maybe going to get caught here. We can look for a tower dive, looking for those shots as we go in, but now we are safe here with Dr. Mundo going in. The world able to buy a lot of time there. Nice recovery here by Killer, but looks like Killer looking for a bit of revenge on Batman, but unfortunately it's just not going to happen.
I think one thing we haven't touched on here with that Smolder in the bot lane, sure, has 3 kills, is already accelerated, but big thing, playing up against the melee support in that Nautilus, giving Smolder a much easier time to stack in lane as well, so that big 225 power spike that every Smolder is looking to get as early as possible is just going to come faster for the side of May. And another thing I wanted to point out, I talked about in draft, as maybe we have a fight here. I think we're okay. We're okay. Talking about in draft how Udyr is sort of like an old school counter to Mundo, but not AP Udyr. You want to do a Q max, which is Winding Claw for Udyr, and AD build, because it does percent max health damage and it absolutely shreds the Mundo, but we're not seeing that coming out from Batman. We're just seeing the Leandries, so I was a little bit excited to see it, but sort of counterpicking ourselves because that Udyr build is not exactly known for its damage.
Either way, we're going to try for it. I do think that we're going to see a tempo shift in the team phase, right? So because we've got Blackfire on Brand. Brand doesn't necessarily need a good KDA, which, yeah, and Lysandra, good point. So, you know, when we've got a lot of bunching up, we've got a lot to play with. And the only one who really shouldn't be bunching up for the most part is going to be Smolder, because the rest of the team, right, this is a very melee-focused team, and they're going to want to charge at you. They're going to want to look for that advantage as they go in. Speaking of advantage, we did get a little of a rotation as Mbessa goes mid lane and then immediately gets punishing for it. The exhaust going down on Killer, but it doesn't matter because he's just able to absorb so many of these shots there. Batman gonna pick up a root as some damage comes in, and we get a bit of a nothing burger on the other side. Singe rotating the top lane, fighting World, but I think we still end up losing this turret into the top lane. Nobody's got a Drake whatsoever. We're almost 15 minutes on the clock and no attention to that whatsoever, and that doesn't surprise me because there's a lot of risk taking these Drakes right now.
I am surprised Narva was able to live that. I think the exhaust was the only way he could have lived. We saw a really good CC setup by Jammer on the Lysandra in the mid lane. First using that Frozen Tomb and then following it up with the Ring of Frost to perma-CC him, but couldn't get enough damage down in time, and Narva sort of got away with one there, not dropping a death. As we see the flash ult from Nautilus, flash away from the Smolder, and that's going to be the end of that play. So we do blow flash for flash, but most importantly, we do blow Smolder's flash, much more valuable than a Nautilus's.
Yeah, absolutely. Smolder still sitting at that 3-0 lead, looking very, very positive for their ends. Another hook coming in, but unfortunately it's only going to catch Tom Kench. It looks like the entire intention is going to be on top of the brand as we lock him down with a wombo combo, immediately collapsing, taking him down. And that is why Smolder is so powerful. He continues to get these leads. These stacks have got to be absolutely devastating. Our score rolling up 5-6 right now at about 16 minutes almost, and still no Drake, not a lot of objectives other than the one tower being down.
Yeah, this brand is struggling in the bot lane. Mr. Lean tried to find the hook in onto Ana Gamer Girl, but left the brand all alone by himself. And when Mr. Lean found that hook, already half health, or the brand was already half health, so the instant turn from Smolder, I mean, just sent him packing quick. Nothing that he could have done about it. Now we are finally positioning around around Drake, as Sinch is on a bit of a journey here. Is going to be able to escape, but that's Drake giving up, or the Drake prio at least.
It could still go either way. The positioning is much better for red side. We do have control over the mana bush. We have control over the mid lane, and now we have just entirely better positioning. And it looks like Conduit blue side, Conduit's Gremlins has decided to just give it up entirely. Hey, I'm trying my best, man. They're both called Conduit. I came in here last minute. I'm doing the best I can. First,
I can remember Gremlins because I could barely see it in the top
blistering 17 minutes. Really, really frustrating to have to deal with that, unfortunately. TP to top. Looks like we're going to get Lissandra for the rotate for that one. Still 5-6, so not a lot of kills despite all of the constant fighting. I feel like every couple of seconds we've had a fight pop off. Speaking to call it on cue right there, there's Mbessa fighting in the world once again. Yone still looking for these opportunities, able to find at least 2 knockups. Now the rest of the team coming in. Singe looking for the rotate, but it looks like it's not going to be too much for that one. Tom Kench looking for a rotate as well, but he's got really no one to pop over to, and still these fights continue to kick off left and right, and surprisingly not a lot of people are dying despite all of the times that we have popped off.
Yeah, you've said it, a lot of scrapping, and well, it's not done. A quick burst, and he will die to that pullback. Cinch was caught out on the side lane. The world getting killed number 3, and we were talking about how accelerated the Smolder is. Of course, Yone accelerated as well. As we see Smolder coming in.
Oh, look at this damage. Well, they're going to get called in. That is going to be an execute right there as a fight kicks off in the top lane. 1-for-1 trade the long way around as Singe goes down in the top lane. Batman trying to go in, looking for the prep time, but I don't think he has it as we're able to pick up so many shots over here. I don't think we really want this fight, especially with the world backing off. That is where the majority of our gold is. However, blue side, I think if they can find the right angle, will want to make something happen, or at the very least delay this as long as we can. Maybe provide a little bit of time for Smolder to pop off. And critical junction's about to happen right now. The world is about to run into Mei in the bot lane. That tower did finally go down, which provided that space as Lissandra flashes forward, looking for a little bit of damage, and we do manage to take him down there right there at the end as the hook comes on the other side as we lock in. Batman in trouble, gonna get eaten on the other end as he's the only one to survive this. No, Tom Kench looks like he had just enough health for it, but either way, Mbessa going down, very, very surprising. I was talking about beforehand how powerful of a champion Mbessa is, and the fact that Yone got the first blood, the fact that Yone is sitting at 3-0 at 175 to 127 is absolutely devastating for blue side, but I can't overstress this Smolder. Look at it, 5-0 right now.
Yeah, both carries on the side of Conduit, of course, for Gremlins and Coinflip. Both have 2 items. Yone locking in his 2 items, already has an extra crit cloak in the back pocket as well. Smolder has the Essence Reaver, the Tunneler, and of course that Black Cleaver. So it really is a battle of the carries right now. Conduit Coinflip is about 4k gold in the lead, but all of that is going to just be on the Yone. So if you're able to play around the world and how strong this Yone is, hopefully CC lock him with that, Singe flip into the goop root, and maybe a little bit of a Tom Kench Q stun as well. Burst him down before he can get his damage. You have a chance to win these fights, but it is all up to Mei right now on the Smolder.
I've heard and seen a lot of disturbing things recently, but I think Goop Root is starting to take the
You don't like Goop
cake
Root?
on that one. No, I do not like Goop Root. It just doesn't sound super great. But I guess it's out there and it's going to live rent free in my head. I definitely won't be thinking about it at 1 a.m. at night. But we're sitting at 20 minutes. Still only 6-8 right now. Looking for an angle to try to lock down May. We still have flap there, and we've got the rotation from both sides. I don't suspect we're going to go too hard on this one. We can overextend, even though this is killer, but it looks like we're going to try it anyways. The world is here. The most of the team is here. Singe and Mbessa are just a little bit slower in the uptake, but it looks like we were able to tighten the noose quickly enough. That gold lead did sink a little bit different. We were about 4K, I think you mentioned beforehand, and now it's about 3.5, about 3K or so. So we are managed to pop that up. And still, 21 minutes in the game, having only the second Drake ready to go in about a minute is kind of insane to me.
You're very happy for Gremlins that only one Drake is taken so far. You gotta just keep on letting your smolder stack up and up. You're in no rush of a soul point. You don't have to contest any Drake if you don't want to, although they are definitely posturing around it right now. But Coinflip, Conduit Coinflip, I mean, just has the map control right now. So many towers down, and the Nautilus Soul is gonna come in.
There it is, coming in, but they're going to get called on so many of these Blackfire torches that I'm talking about are going to do so much work here. We're grouped up on the other side. We've got Brand, we've got all of the damage, but we still have Smolder on the other end. Flap, going to get activated as Killer on the hunt. Killer out for blood, trying to lock him down, but Tom Kench right there for the spacing. And once again, we kick off a fight and nothing happens. Everyone survives. We could have fast forwarded a couple of times and still the score would be exactly the same, but we do look to execute on the other side, but we're going to pick up a hook there on the other end. There, now Yone going in, looking for the damage. May gonna fall down there right there at the end. Now, Tom Kench on the run, gonna get stuck on the other side, falling to pieces, and Bessa left here by themselves. Singe here for the rescue, but it's gonna be too little too late. Batman here, but we're not gonna get any goop, we're not gonna get any flip, and we turn that into a long-winded 1-for-3 trade. Sure, we got the Lissandra, but we lost 3, and the Smolder for it on top of a Drake.
Yeah, you said it, the burn down at the beginning of that fight, even though it amounts to no kills, it chunked out the side of Gremlins so long, and Yone, the world, wasn't even there in that fight. He TP'd down a little bit late, and because of that, just absolutely able to clean. You said the Smolder was able to punch the Lissandra, but May flashed basically under mid-tier 1 to finalize that kill, and had to trade their life because of it. And that's a big kill going over to the side of Coinflip. Again, Smolder is really all of the gold on the side of Gremlins, and I did see on that Lissandra kill, the Q that killed the Lissandra, it was 225 stacks. So Smolder has officially hit 225. We have the execute on board now.
Now sitting at 7-11, 2 Drakes looking on red side, continuing to look better as the game goes on. And I think team fight wise, I think they've got a lot of good stuff. I mentioned how critical it is going to be for Conduit Gremlins to sort of not bunch up. We've got 2 of those Blackfire torches, and even if we do not have those, right, we still got Brand. Brand, I don't think needs KDA to be effective, right? I think that's one of the reasons he can be such a powerful support, is because he does not need that KDA. He just needs to get his full kit off, get 1 stun maybe, and then of course pop that ultimate, and then after that, after he dies, his ult can continue to do the damage. You can continue to apply all kinds of stuff like that. If you're worried about health regen or anything like that, there's a lot of great tools that can work off of him. He's just such a powerful champion to not really concern themselves too much with the KDA, and one of the biggest things is they've been able to keep up with the CSing, despite the fact that Smolder has had such a devastating lead. And the same cannot be said for Mbessa sitting at 0-3, really struggling on this one, because the amount of CS difference is absolutely insane. It takes about 30 CS to make up about 1 kill, right? So every 30 CS that this Yone is above Mbessa is essentially another kill, and shows how much of that lead there is. But just like we saw with Smolder, Yone has the majority of the gold for his team. So if we knock down the Yone, then we don't have an insane amount to watch out for, at least when it comes in terms of gold and wallet.
Taking a stake at the items before we go for this bear, and we do see a second item, Dead Man's Plate on the Singe. I understand wanting the movement speed for Singe to access the backline a little bit easier, but I question why it is Dead Man's Plate. The side of Conduit Coinflip doesn't have that much AD damage. Even Yone, the big hyper carry, is a mix of AD, AP, and True. I just don't think Deadman's Plate gets the value that you're looking for. Probably wanted to go, like a Force of Nature instead, but this is what we have settled on as we start dancing around the Baron Killer Fox, trying to get the ward, but the sweeper just expired before he's able to get it. So now we fight over the mid wave, but of course, Brand clicks the WE and just takes control of it. And now we're going to rotate up to Baron.
Yeah, Baron's up still. All the bodies are absolutely up as well, so we've got opportunities to go for it, but you got to remember that Baron is the original autocon. That debuff does a insane amount of work, so you can still turn the fights around, especially with the fact that we've got Smolder. Smolder's going to love to fight over the walls and is able to do plenty of damage, and at this point, if Smolder does not have the 225 stack, starting to fight off as we're going to try to lock him down on the other end. Public Execution activating on the background is turning absolute spaghetti. Mother going to get called down, but only hitting 2, and now Yone in the background picking up picking up the Smolder on the other end. Now we're going back in. Things are not looking good for Gremlins as they fall to pieces. Their gold is down. Their champions are down. They're losing health bars left and right, and Singed is the only one to walk away from this absolute bloodbath. Now we're going to be chomping at this tower, taking down this T2, looking for an end, but I don't think we have it just quite yet.
It looks like a good start on the side of Conduit Gremlins. The Mbessa was able to find the public execution on the flank, diving into the backline, but just didn't have any support when she went in by herself, and we saw as the world instantly answered by diving Gremlin's backline, and we talked about it so many times. It is the Yone versus the Smolder for who can really bring their team to victory, and right now, it's the world on that Yone able to take out the Smolder in that fight, and that was the real difference maker. Once that Smolder drops, it's all of your damage. And just no hope in the fight. And now, we get our resets in with our big chunk of gold that we just received. Mid lane now having a Shadow Flame and either building towards the Zonias or the Death Cap. We'll see which one they choose. And now your brand has a Rylai's and building towards the Leandries.
I did mention that if anyone can get their hands on the Smolder, it is going to be the world, and that is twice in a row that Smolder has unfortunately got caught out. That second time, not really their fault. It was just more of the click, the ability, and just sort of the setup for it. First time, definitely not being the greatest. Going for the Lissandra, we did manage to get it, but it's kind of one of those things at what cost. So that's 2 critical fights back to back. I think granting us Drakes each time. Speaking of Drake, the other Drake's going to fall to pieces, which means we now have that soul point, and we've got such a lead. We're sitting at 3 Drakes. We're sitting at a lot of kills. We're starting to diversify our gold just a little bit on red side, on Coinflip, and we're just in this great dominant position. Mbessa, unfortunately, has just kind of been mitigated to going for a lot of these side lane pushes, which Mbessa is okay at, but oftentimes you pick Mbessa for that public execution. You pick Mbessa for that engage, for that team fight, and so using them like this tool just is really, really against what they need to. And going back to the other side, though, too, is like Smolder is really the only one with gold on the other end, right? He's got 6 out of 8 of the kills, and so as soon as he goes down, we're just not able to do too much. So this focus on towers does make a lot of sense. I would like to see them draw back just a little bit and focus on these specifically. Now starting to fight there. It looks like as Mother going to call down, look for the kill on Brand, but Yone going to go in the world looking for a kill, but unfortunately not able to stick the landing. Looking to stick the landing. Mr. Lean goes in. Now Lissandra locking down the rest of the team. Things are not looking grim here for the other side as we pick up kill after kill. World grabbing a double kill right there at the end. That's 4, 1 away from an ace, and now I don't think Singed can stop this on his own because look at those death timers, 30 to 40 seconds on each one. There's a potential we can end here right now. Oh, he goes down.
Yeah, they're gonna look for the that should be the game there for the side of Conduit Coinflip. Another great team fight in the mid lane, blowing the Smolder flash early, and then the TP coming in from Jammer. Gets the ult on the Smolder in the backline. It just CC'd to death. No chance for the side of Conduit Gremlins. And just under 29 minutes, Conduit Coinflip is going to take the first game.
Nearly 30 minutes of non-stop fighting with surprisingly little kills despite what happened. Either way, it looks like Coinflip is going to roll away with the win for game number 1. Massive congratulations. I think that was a bit more of a team comp diff. We managed to group a little bit better, so I'm going to go with team synergy as well, and that's super, super great. But we cannot count Gremlins out. I think Gremlins had what they needed to make something happen. The biggest difference was just they weren't able to find purchase on such a critical champion. They weren't able to find purchase on that Mbessa, and that kind of put them on on the back foot the entire time. And oftentimes when you get these leads, if you don't do something with your lead to diversify it, like you don't turn it into drakes, you don't turn it into towers, you don't turn it into kills for other teammates, you run into that exact problem that we saw right there, Billy.
Yeah, you said it. Yone was able to bring his leads across the entire team, but Smolder had the lead in bot lane, but wasn't able to spread the love. So it was just not enough for the side of Gremlins. I mean, a really great play from Yone in that game and Lissandra getting the CC in the back line. And you talked about how much utility teams can provide. And I mean, Nautilus ulting on top of someone, Lissandra stun, Yone stun, Brand stun. It can't get much more utilization than that.
Absolutely, and that leading to Gremlins getting stunned, locked down, and destroyed for game number 1. Our score 0-1. Give us a couple of minutes, everyone. We're going to roll into a small break, let the cats herd into the respective games, and we'll be back in a couple of minutes, so pay attention to the timer.
So hold our heads up high and beat the drums to what we love. Risk the fall, oh, we have felt it all come crashing down from far above. Stars are rising, countless worlds colliding. Only one will take it all. Can we bring to fall the giants? Can we make the final call? We are the ones to ignite the darkened skies. The champions of a world that we defy. A solar ray of the few who rise up high. And we all fight at the last light. Hearing voices from afar, join the madness when the curtain falls. Risk it all, hold nothing back. Seize the day, we must attack. Stars are rising, countless worlds colliding. Only one will take it all. Can we bring to fall the giants? Can we make the final call? We are the ones to ignite the darkened skies. The champions く強く輝いて消えた流れ星ほら命が燃える何かに怯え走り続けたその虚しさの指示何を見て何を探してきた自分の声がただ響く幾千万の星の中で惹かれて出会った守り手たちよ回る回る時の輪の中で自分の弱さ強さの先に同じ空誰かが見上げてるそう信じて消されない虹の奇跡が届けと冷たい指で涙拭ったあの日にはもう帰れない水平線目指して飛び立つ自分の願いを抱いて幾千万の星に呼ばれ交わりすれ違う守り手たちよ回る回る時に抗って未来を願ってもいいですか儚さから目をそらしたぐり寄せる道の兆しの向こうかける希望
And welcome back, everybody. Chong Somo here, stepping in for the GOAT Korak, who filled in for me for game one. I'm still joined by Pelly, and after personally watching that game one and not having to cast it, I wasn't the biggest fan of it, but as you getting to cast it, Pelly, how did you feel about that first game here between the Conduit Civil War?
I think Singed Mid was a pick. Uh, there is really not much more to say about Singed Mid besides that it was picked. It was very confusing for me to see it be picked there, especially into the Lysandra. Just a very weak matchup. As we're already starting draft number 2. We'll see if the bans stay the same. Zeri's going to be taken out again. May #Zeri. I don't think is ever going to get the hands on that Zeri.
Yeah, probably not. I mean, the Singed Mid is a GVG special, so like I wasn't surprised seeing that one picked up, but like I just feel like the rest of the draft just like didn't come together. Like I understand that Gremlins was playing with the sub jungle, having Batman in instead of their regular jungle Aminarch, but like, also knowing Batman's champion pool, I'm surprised they didn't prioritize Mundo and they went for the Udyr, but like also they drafted double melee lanes, and I wasn't sure if Sejuani was banned or not because I know Batman plays that. So like if you have
It was
double
not.
melee solo lanes, yeah, Sejuani would have been just a better pick. Like I like the Smolder TK pick. I think Smolder is like the best AD carry this patch currently, but like I just feel like it didn't come together for Gremlins. I kind of felt like they weren't playing the map cohesively as a team. But now we can see, like you mentioned, the Zeri banned, then Ashe and Seraphine both respectively being banned by Gremlins as Coinflip Patrol banning away the Mordekaiser. So with what we're seeing in the ban so far, Pelly, what are you hoping that the opposite Conduit team, the Coinflip Patrol, prioritizes for their B1?
I mean, most teams in Plat either prioritize jungle or ADC as their B1. I think very strong junglers on patch right now is going to be the Jarvan. It's going to be the Xin Zhao. Maybe even a little bit of AP Xin Zhao can come out in the jungle. Of course, with that new Dusk and Dawn, Static Shiv, and Nashor's Tooth build, the healing on it can be absolutely insane. ADC picks, we might see just a classic Jinx B1. Every Plat player loves to pick up that Jinx B1. I think other strong ADCs, we could see Caitlyn Bard if they're able to play it. We could see Lucian Braum or like Ezreal Karma, but we'll see what actually gets picked out first here.
Yeah, I mean, with this being platinum, I don't want to see an Ezreal come out. I'm fine with the Karma being picked. I think Karma is still strong in multiple lanes, even if you're not going the Ezreal. Like, I think you can still play it with Caitlyn and still have a very strong poke lane in that, like, fortitude. But, like, I just don't want to see a platinum player put their hands on Ezreal because, like, if you're not super, like, expressive as this champion, you're going to do so little damage in the game and the champion's going to feel, like, terrible. But like I also like think Misfortune is a very strong AD carry. Even with Hubris being nerfed in the early game, it's still extremely strong on her. As the Milio ban makes a lot more sense now, as we see Conduit Gremlins going with red side first pick of the Lilia jungle. That is Ammonarch special. Shout out my boy Ammonarch. I used to talk Lily about him all the time because this was my jungle main back when I was playing jungle. And she did recently get buffed this patch with her passive now dealing more damage to these neutral minions.
Uh-oh.
And we're gonna see. Okay,
It's your favorite.
I think I will allow May to play it because May really shouldn't be playing in Platinum. She should be playing in Emerald, maybe even Diamond on a good day. But solo queue is not her fortitude, so that's why she's down here. But Ezreal Lilia definitely gonna need a lot of CC coming out from the Gremlin side.
Yeah, you're gonna need CC follow up. Right now, all you have is that Lilia sleep. We'll see whether they can round it off here with the R3, but B2, we're gonna see Nasus? Is that a Nasus blind top lane?
No, I think that is Nasus jungle for Killer Fox. I think he's playing Griffin style, going Nasus jungle. We'll see how it works. It's a pick in League of Legends. It's one of the champions that's available, and they were allowed to lock it in, so they did. And now, okay, like I mentioned, gonna be that Caitlyn Karma bot lane, still an extremely strong 2v2 bot lane. Now, me personally, the support I would love to pair with Ezreal is Bard, but I do not want to see Gremlins pick Bard because GVG has messaged me before saying, "Do you want our support the first time Bard when you cast us?" And I said, "Please no."
I would like that.
I would absolutely hate that as a Bard main myself. So, I mean, you can still go a few different options here with Ezreal. Leon is one of them. I was also going to mention Rakan or Braum are still very good bot lanes with Ezreal. They're just extremely safe because Ezreal can E out, and then you have the Braum or Rakan E or W respectively to get back with your Ezreal, so you can't really be punished. But they went with Leona trying to have some way to get some kill pressure on this bot lane instead of just being pushed in constantly. And the thing I would want to see Anna do on this Leona instead of playing with May on this Ezreal all the time is look for a lot of roams and be able to impact the map more than Mr. Lean is on this Karma.
And we were talking about with that Lilia and Ezreal first lock-in, they're going to need CC somewhere on their team to really facilitate that damage. And we already see it locked here with the Leona. Akali is going to be banned out on red side for Gremlins. Just want to get rid of a little bit of annoying mobility, and of course that Shroud is always annoying to deal with. As we do see an Auction ban come out. Another not very common pick being banned out here.
It's another GVG special mid laner. You have a few of them. We already saw the Singed. The Akshan is one. The other one is Echo. He does play mid as well, so could be an option as well. And definitely curious to see where he goes because, like, with the recent changes on this patch, this also could just be AP Ezreal mid lane. It doesn't have to necessarily be that AD carry Ezreal that we've seen before. AP Ezreal got buffed. A lot of things have changed. Like we mentioned, the APs in Zhao. There's crit marksman Kennen again. There's AP Ezreal. Like there's full damage Skarner now. Like there's a lot of options on this patch. A lot of stuff got changed. So maybe this Ezreal's mid could just be AD carry, but gonna see another mid lane ban in the Victor here, taking that away from Jammer J as Conduit Coinflip Patrol looking to see what their last ban's gonna be. And I would like to see Narva potentially get the R5 here for the side of Gremlins because I don't think he had necessarily the best game on that in Bessa. I think he kind of griefed some of the early trades against the world and it really put his team behind because they could not play the game after that. So definitely curious to see how Gremlins is going to prioritize their solo lanes, which one is going to be getting the counter pick here.
We're going to find out in just about 5 seconds. I imagine probably best blind pick you could do is, well, maybe not Orionics of the Lilia, but Scion is always really strong. It's going to be the Syndra locked in. So playing with a little bit more poke, a little bit more range with that Ezreal Syndra, with the snap engage of the Leona if they ever need it. We'll see what the answer is here for mid lane for the side of Conduit Coinflip. Right now, I don't see like much cohesion to their comp on how Coinflip would want to play this. We're going to see Ari hovered, at least for now, maybe signaling maybe a little bit more of a pick comp with Ari Charm into a Caitlyn trap, try to burst down one target before the fight starts. It is going to be locked in. So with that in mind, pick top laner. What would you like to see here?
I mean, knowing the world personally, as I got to play against him in the top lane, I think I would like to see maybe his Jax be picked here as his blind pick. It's a very good champion that he's on. When he's on it, he's very good at it. He has also been playing a lot of Malphite recently in the draft league we're playing in, and I think I'm the reason why he's doing that, because I'm kind of smurfing it on Malphite in that league personally. But he's just gonna go with
back.
Yeah, of course. I gotta glaze myself in my off-roll top lane adventure, but it's gonna be Cassante pick here. I mean, I think it makes a lot of sense in the draft that Coinflip Patrol has. It's a frontliner because necessarily Nasus isn't the tankiest champion unless he's popping that ultimate. So Cassante makes a lot more sense. It gives them a front line, and it does give them another pick tool in the weirdest way possible with that Cassante ultimate to just hijack somebody across Summoner's Rift over a wall and put it into Ahri Caitlyn range. But definitely can be a little bit give or take if he's not grouped with the team. The side of Coinflip is very squishy, and we're gonna see the Camille pick. And I recently casted a Camille. I believe it was last week. We saw a Camille be picked as a counter pick, and it just did not work out. I feel like Camille is kind of extremely weak right now. I'm really curious to see how Narva does on this champion.
Yeah, Camille in pro play is a pretty good counter into tanks because of that Q damage that's able to come out. In lower tiers, I've seen people try to counterpick the tanks with stuff like Fiora, with stuff like Camille, and it just hasn't really worked out. I think the level of execution on those champions, just the bar is high in order to do good. You need to be able to execute. We're going to see if he's going to be able to execute on this Camille top here. Had a great game last time. Oh, no, sorry. It was Narva playing the Camille. So did struggle a little bit last time. We're going to see if he's going to be able to turn it around here in this matchup.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely going to be, my eyes are definitely on this top lane. I think it's the most volatile lane out of everything picked, because I feel like we kind of know how mid lane's going to go. It's going to be Ahri looking to have Nasus come in, gank the Syndra while Syndra's trying to scale up. Bot lane for the side of Coinflip is going to be pushing into the Ezreal Leona lane. Narva on this Lilia, power clearing jungler. Same with Nasus in a weird way. They're both going to really want to be focused on clearing their jungle camps and getting good timers on those. Where top lane, I feel like if Camille can get ahead, can be very devastating to the side of the Coinflip comp. So I kind of want to see both junglers pathing up there for this game. But Pelly, I got to ask you the question, since you are my color analysis here. Out of these two drafts, which one are you favoring here in game number 2?
As a jungler player myself, I would much rather be playing Lilia. I think the Nasus clear, especially if you are focusing specifically on getting stacks in the jungle, not trying to clear as fast as possible to get the most amount of stacks as possible, it is extremely slow. And especially against a Lilia who has a hyper fast clear and can just rotate camps over and over and over again. If you try to play for that slow clear and play for those stacks, you're just going to be outpaced.
Yeah, and I kind of agree with you on this one. I think Gremlins got everything they wanted. They got their jungler's best champion, and then the draft kind of seemed to fit together. Playing more of a poke/pick style as well, with better their engage options are better than the side of Conduit, Coinflip, but they still do have some good pick options with the Syndra stun, Leona getting a single target CC, and then you can have some big burst damage that can come out from Ezreal, Camille, even Lilia. While the Conduit Coinflip, they are just looking for poke. They are looking to be aggressive in setups for these neutral objectives to be able to get that pick that they're looking for to make sure that they can actually win the preceding team fight. So definitely going to be on Coinflip to have the hands to be able to pull off this comp, while Gremlins are just going to be playing towards comfort. So the only way we're going to find out which two of these teams are going to win here, if we're going to get a game 3 or if Coinflip is going to close it out in a 2-0 fashion, is when we get back from a short break.
世界に銀河に広がってくそれがいつか風となりきって新たな日が始まる越えてゆく時の輪の中で確かに刻みつけたきらめき同じ空誰かが見上げてる信じたから消されない虹の奇跡残した
Those cravens backstabbed me, deceived me. Never shall I tolerate their crimes again. Now let the hunt begin. Yeah, 7,000 souls scared and daunted. Such a tale of woe. Not too long ago, this village was a golden scene of hope. Call down the reckoning to bring back hope and peace, restore our glory to live forever. Yeah, bring down the dark regime. I know how to unleash eternal power. Lead us to order. I am the light bringer. Yeah. I am the light bringer. Now listen, fellow warriors, I ask you, should my campaign come to an end? There's way more to avenge. Whoa! 50 million souls living in this realm without much hope. Not too long ago, this kingdom was a golden state of hope. Yeah! Call down the reckoning to bring back hope and peace, restore our glory to live forever. Yeah, bring down the dark regime. I know how to unleash eternal power. Lead us to order. I am the light bringer. Call down the reckoning, bring back hope and peace, restore our glory
And we are on the Rift for game number 2. Conduit Coinflip Patrol going to be on the blue side. Conduit Gremlins on the red side. And looking over summoner spells and choices of keystones. Anything sticking out to you in this game here, Pelly?
Not necessarily. We do see the fleet footwork on the Gnosis jungle. That is pretty common for when you are playing Gnosis. Just gives you a little bit of the extra sustain if you do want to play for those stacks. You are just going to take a little bit more damage overall. The Electrocute on the Ahri to get those quick burst trades, especially because they're looks like they're playing for the pick comp, is going to help their damage a little bit. I do see the Lilia with the Conqueror. I've tested it out a little bit. I still don't know how I feel. I've been trying the new Deathfire Touch on Lilia jungle. I would have liked to see it because I want a little bit more info, but we're just sticking to the old classic for now.
Yeah, from what I heard, Deathfire Touch is the best keystone on Lilia. I'm not sure if that's still true with like the hotfix that came out before the patch hit live, but Conqueror, like you said, is the tried and true, so it does make a lot of sense. We can also see that the world has gone with the new starting item, the Doran's Helm, which gives just HP, armor, and MR, and then the passive for it is you deal 5 additional physical damage to minions. So it isn't like the health regen that you get off of Doran's Shield, but it is a better like tank wave clear item in the early ones, as we can see some trades already happening. Narva's winning in the top lane trade, even though he did just take a tower shot, and GVG did get a good trade in on the mid lane onto Jammer J. We also saw the second that the oh, hold on, May is going in. They're looking to get this damage here onto Hyde. Gonna have to walk away. E is in, another stun. It has landed down, flash already burned. Barrier now used out of Hyde, and the Mantra is going in, but Anna hits another one, and it's first blood over to the Ezreal. Now Mr. Lean is taking a lot of damage, and that was played very well by the bot lane of Conduit Gremlins. Anna getting a max range Zenith Blade to lock down the Caitlyn to ensure first blood. Yes, you use Flash as May on the Ezreal, but definitely worth it to get that one.
Yeah, Ezreal Karma, or sorry, not Ezreal Karma, Caitlyn Karma wants to have the early control of the lane so they can keep on pushing their advantage, chipping tower down, getting plates, and building the gold lead. But we do see the problem. If you overextend just a little bit, that Leona will send the Zenith Blade on your face. And we see what happens when that happens. A kill gets over to May in the bot lane, and now the early game prowess that Caitlyn wants to have is now going to be stunted a little bit. Put a little bit behind with that death. Didn't lose too much of the waves, so we're still good on XP. Luckily, Ezreal only coming back with the Tyrannal Longsword, so not the biggest power spike, but still giving an early gold advantage to that Ezreal is not what you want to see if you are a Coinflip fan.
Yeah, and you could say it's not a big power spike for Ezreal because not like he's coming back with a Sheen, but like even getting tier early is such a huge power spike for Ezreal because you can start stacking that so much sooner and get on those 2 big items for you with that Muramana and the Trinity Force so much earlier, which is so big. And another thing that we were talking about is how much faster of a clear Lilia has in comparison to the Nasus. We could see while Killer Fox was on his Krugs, Ammonarch got both scuttles. He got the bot and the top lane scuttle, and he's just going back to clearing his cams. He got his Krugs, and we can see now that Killer Fox is trying to steal away these Raptors. He has not successfully taken it yet. We'll see if he's going to be able to, or if Ammonarch is going to come in to stop it. Smite is used to get the big Raptor, so he will get the gold and the jungle clear for that one, but he's not getting stacks towards those Qs on that. But he already did get a first recall, has Sheen in inventory. The world had taken a recall, TP back to top, got just a cloth armor for himself. Jammer did take a reset, TP back with a Dark Seal. But GVG just took his first reset, TP back on a lost chapter. Ammonarch gets his reset, gets a Dark Steel, a Faded Ashes. So like the side of Conduit Gremlins is just winning in gold right now, so any trade goes in as Anna hits another Zenith Blade here onto Mr. Lean. May going in with that E, gets a big burst damage onto the Karma, as no real damage goes back onto Anna thanks to the Eclipse and the Aftershock. Hayden just can't do any damage in return on that one, as top laners just trading it out here. Gonna be that Q3 there for the world going in, also using the Pathmaker, trying to get some big damage down here onto Narva. Has level 6, he can look for the all-out, use the E in, but Narva gonna hookshot his way away.
And we haven't touched on it yet, as Drake is being started up here by Ammonarch, there we go. Just how fast his clear is, able to just get to that Drake before Gnosis even has a chance. But we haven't touched on this. Narva is not running a flash in the top lane, is running that Ignite plus TP combo. So could be a little bit susceptible to ganks, especially once Gnosis starts getting his Wither leveled up. You know, that 99% slow without a flash, it's going to be impossible for that Camille to escape.
Yeah, and I mean, the no flash on the Camille is very typical. It's always like the Ignite TP. Just because you have Hookshot, it is such a good escape tool. And you can also, if you're very good at the champion, use the Hextech Ultimatum to create a lot of space as well. But like you said, if Killer Fox does get up there with the high-ranked levels in Wither, Narva's going to have no chance to get away. And that's just even true with Flash. And like, the only one who might be able to outrun it is Ammonarch if he gets the Q stacked up. As another trade coming out here, the World is getting some good damage here onto Narva, even gets that grass proc as well, and Narva just not going to be winning out of these trades for a while here, as another Nintofu strike is in. World is looking to chase him down, as his tactical sweep is going to have to be used to help get Narva some HP and a slow off. But yeah, I don't know when Camille is supposed to win this trade, but it doesn't seem like soon. Hookshot going to have to be used again by Narva, and he is at 3/4 HP. He's just losing this trade anytime we come up, and this is kind of what I saw last time when I saw Camille as an R5 option for a counter pick. It just didn't do what you expected a counter pick to do.
Yeah, Camille's biggest strength is once you finally hit that first item. Normally it's the Trinity Force that we've seen in the past. But of course,
Zenithblade in onto Mr. Lean here. Mr. Lean gonna have to try to get away from this one, and just a little bit of damage. Ignite drop there by Ana to get some pressure onto Mr. Lean, but this could be a dangerous spot for the Karma again if they go walk up. But yeah, like you said, Narva just needs to get to that first item and maybe has a chance to win the trade against the World, but we'll see, because the World is out CSing Narva and he's winning all these trades. If he's able to get to a first item first, there just might not be a situation where Narva will like ever win these trades. As GVG flashes in, the charm lands out of Jammer, but the ult comes out, and the Arcane Comet is going to be the last tick there to get the kill in the mid lane. As now they trading in the bot lane, they're going to use the E forward, getting a lot of damage down onto both Mr. Lean and Hayden, and Flash was used by Hayden there, so down a summoner spell on that trade that was lost as well. So definitely not going good this time around for the Coinflip Patrol bot lane.
A great play by GVG there, knowing Syndra's limits with the damage. Almost was a little bit unfortunate, but that Comet came in to save the day to secure the kill. But now you got the kill in mid lane as GVG, but you had to expend your flash. Ahri still has hers up, so you need to be extra careful right now. If Ahri Spirit Rushes onto you with the flash, Gnosis comes in on the side. As a Syndra, you have zero escape. So the next 4 minutes, we should just be sitting pretty in mid lane, happy we got our kill, just keep on farming up.
Yeah, and I mean, that was just like you said, the damage just almost wasn't there, but GVG just also knowing his limits to be able to get that last bit of damage out. So we can see Ammonarch here has started up the Void Grubs as... Okay, I thought for a second that one was stolen by Jammer, but we can see that it wasn't. I thought he had it for a second. I had to stop myself and look, but no, Ammonarch is going to be able to pick up all three here. And Void Grubs, I feel like a lot of people agree with me on this. It's kind of just a luxury neutral objective nowadays. It's not as strong as it used to be. It's very, like, whatever if it's getting traded. But when you're able to pick it up for free like this, when it's not being traded for a dragon, it feels better than having to trade it away for, like, the first or second dragon in the game. So Conduit going to be able to pick that one up and feeling good, having both neutral objectives picked up here. And you can see, because Ammonarch has slowed down his clear just a little bit to be able to pick that up, Killer Fox is getting close, but you can also see that he has no camps rotated right now, while Ammonarch has all of his. He has his Krugs, his Raptors, and then his bot side is going to be up, and now Ana going to get hit by the charm here. We'll see what happens. Going to have to flash away, as also using the ultimate as well, but now taking so much damage as Jammer goes in, but a nice three-man stun there from GVG to keep their support alive, as Mei is trading in the bot lane with Hayden, winning out on this one. Barrier going to be popped by the Caitlyn, and the true shot barrage is true. Barrier used by Mei to pick up the solo bolo in the AD carry duel.
It is so unfortunate for Hayden to fall down there, especially because Mei missed a lot of those Mystic shots in the later half of the trades. Like, it just kept on missing Mystic shot, but the autos with those lethal tempo procs just kept coming down, and that's what ultimately did them in. The True Shot Barrage, nice little icing on the top for the style points on the kill. And now this Ezreal up to a very early lead, already a 2-0, getting very close to, it looks like a Trinity Force first item. Yeah, there it is already, 10 minutes into the game. As Narva now, with that Sheen, is turning around top lane a little bit.
Oh wait, Ignite is down. He's going to hookshot in, use the ultimate as well, and he's able to pick up the kill in the top lane. For a second, I thought World had a chance to turn that one around, but not quite able to at this point. Apparently, Camille wins the trade when a Sheen is in inventory.
Yeah, I said it was first item. When she starts winning matchup, it's apparently Sheen. That is all she needed right now. Gets the best of the world. And you were talking about how Grubs is a little bit weak of an objective. I agree. But theoretically, Camille should be a very strong side laner. And with those 3 Grubs buff, the little Grub spawn when you're hitting those towers, it should provide good value to specifically Narva if he's able to keep this lead and keep pressure on those side lanes. But if not, the Grubs are not going to do much. So it really is up to Narva to get that value out of them so far.
Yeah, and we saw there Dragon number 2 picked up here by the side of Conduit Gremlins. Kind of a polar opposite to what happened in game number 1. But we can also see Killer Fox is ahead on the jungle clear. He's just 1 camp away from being able to have his smite transformed. And Ammonarch should be able to pick up his red and then Krugs and then be able to get his transformed. And once again, because of the way they have been rotating camps, Ammonarch should actually be able to finish that first because there are no camps up right now for Killer Fox to be able to take. So he's just going to have to hover around some lanes right now. He's going to look to go to the Scuttle Crab and potentially take that as the one to be able to get it over, as Ammonarch is looking for a play in the top lane. Stunned is the world from the hook shot. He's just trading in onto Narva, and now Ammonarch is here. He's going to hit the Q. All out has been used, but it doesn't matter. It goes unstoppable, falls asleep, and Ammonarch is able to pick up the kill with the watch out Eep. And like you said, W's just a little bit too early, not able to buffer that one through, as now Killer Fox just immediately on the Raptors here on the minimap of Ammonarch, steals those away, finishes his jungle quest, gonna get this top lane scuttle as well, as bot lane, in the lane that should be pushing all the time of the Caitlyn Karma, is just losing out to the Ezreal Leona because of the early plays, and then the 1v1 Mei took. Trinity Force already completed, almost at 360 stacks on that tier, sitting at 231 right now, and also a big thing is, Mei didn't pick up tier 1 boots. We can see Hayden already has the quest completed, so those brown bags are in that slot. So use the gold more efficiently, did Mei this time around, by not picking up those, just going for a fully completed item first before even having to pick those up, because going Flash and the Essence Flux are just enough to get, sorry, the Arcane Shift are just enough to keep me safe, where I don't need to pick up boots early.
I talked about it in draft, how I thought Nasus may be a little bit behind on the clear. It is keeping up right now, and here that I talked about, maybe lack of flash is going to hurt.
All right, here we go, Narva getting withered, and now the ultimate is used by Killer Fox, Fury of the Sands. He tries to hookshot buffer away. He does get the stun onto Killer Fox. Killer Fox has a lot of Qs stacked up and gets a big shutdown. Had to use flash as well, and now Jammer is looking to go for the 1v1 onto GVG. GVG taking a lot of damage, flashes away, but Mr. Lean is there, and he leashes up the Syndra, and now Jammer trying to get this one, doesn't hit the Q2, hits a charm again. The ult is used by Ana, but it isn't in time. GVG falls down, and that was a great roam by Mr. Lean.
Yeah, good roam by Mr. Lean to secure that kill in the mid lane. GVG did have a little bit of the misuse on the flash. Maybe if we got the flash over a wall, there's a better chance to live, but just couldn't find the right angle. And then in the top lane, we saw Killer Fox with the gank onto Narva, and you were talking about how good that hookshot is as an out option. Killer Fox recognized that and flashed in front of the E2 hookshot and tanked it, so Camille couldn't get as far on the jump away, and ultimately that's what secured that kill. And of course, he got a little bit of reward as well, getting some stacks on the minions. So Narva, who's trying to snowball that lead in top, does get a little bit slowed down. Iceborne Gauntlet is now going to be complete for the Cassante. So hopefully for him, it's going to be a little bit of easier trades, as he's going to be all
He uses all out, and now Narva's under turret. He takes 2 turret shots, and he's getting slowed up. He's getting knocked up, pulled back, and it doesn't matter because the world has found his moment to take the 1v1 and win it. Very well played by him to get that buffer through the wall into the turret as well. And now Mei could be in a lot of trouble here. There's 3 people bot lane. Mr. Lean, path positional very well to get the root on here. And now Killer Fox's bot lane pops the Furies of the Sand, and Hayden's going to be the one to pick up that kill. Mr. Lean playing really well with those tethers on Karma so far.
Yep, another great tether from Mr. Lean. Just standing on top of the Ezreal, even if he tries to blink away, he's still going to be within that W range just because how close Mr. Lean was playing. And we saw Killer Fox on the back, able to help clean up. Again, rewarded with another wave to get stacks on. I'm actually curious if we can see how much stacks Nasus has, if that's even possible. I'm not too sure, but from what I can tell, pretty accelerated for this state of the game.
Yeah, and every time I see a Nasus picked in the jungle, I'm always curious if we're going to see that weird crit build that was going around for a while with the Fiend Hunter bolts and the Essence Reaver, but it's just going to be the classic Nasus build, Trinity Force into Dead Man's Plate, into tank and all that stuff, to get those resistances build up. But I also am curious how many stacks we are on the Nasus queue. Can't tell just by looking at it, but we'll see here as the World and Narva are trading up here, dodges away from that. Now GVG takes a lot of damage from Jammer here. Now Killer Fox is actually looking to go in. Ammonarch is using the movement speed. A stun out of Anna, gets it onto Killer Fox. Anna flashed away. GVG gets charged up on the backside. He's going to fall down, and now they're looking to turn this one. Is the side of Conduit Coinflip Patrol as Narva and the World are trading in the top lane. Narva used the ultimate, but it doesn't matter because he falls down to the World. As Jammer goes back in, he hits a charm onto Ammonarch. Ammonarch goes in, gets a two-man ultimate, and the damage comes out from May. May has shown up. The reinforcements are there. Ammonarch gets one kill, and now Anna falls down to Jammer, but Killer Fox gets another kill on to May, and now Hayden's going to be able to get the ace of the hold onto Ammonarch. That is a full ace for the side of Conduit Coinflip Patrol out of nowhere.
Ace in the hole secures the ace, and I'm starting to see the Nasus counterpick. I'm understanding it. If you W the Lilia, her passive gets no value. She can't run around you anymore. It just makes her so much weaker. And we see May rock up to the fight, but it's just a little bit too late. The Ezreal is the bulk of their gold lead, and rotating to that fight just a little bit late. Not enough damage coming out. And even when they did rotate, they did jump directly.
Wait, we're still looking for this one. Anna is now up in here in the top lane. The World is going to try to get away. He uses Flash, and then he uses the E to get to a minion. But Narva with a nice hook shot gets back onto the World. Anna is still looking for this one, picking up the Cinders to get that movement speed. The W is there, but it doesn't matter because that blade is in. The shield bash is in, and Narva is able to pick up that kill. Mr. Leon gets hit on the side by GVG just to make sure that support can't get there and save their top laner. But very well on the rotation there for Conduit, punishing the World for overstaying up there in that top lane. But now in the meantime, Hayden's going to pick up the third tier 1 trade in the mid lane, and now he's looking to trade onto May. May's getting a lot of damage. GVG is here. The flash is already used, dodges away from the E out of GVG, and Hayden's going to be able to walk this one off. But wait, he's getting a lot of damage. Tower shots coming through, but it doesn't matter because the outplay button is there for GVG, and he says, Hayden, you are gone through barrier. Oh wait, Killer Fox is up here in the top lane, where they're onto Narva. Narva has almost no way to get away from this. The hookshot doesn't matter, and now GVG is just gonna run rampant, but now Ammonarch is up here trying to save their top lane, where they're once again used. Buffered is the ultimate, but it doesn't matter because now Killer Fox is just gonna be able to run down anybody he wants to. The flash is in, another Wither almost on here, gets it on to Ammonarch. Ammonarch trying to run away with movement speed, trying to get the damage out, uses the ultimate, a lot of damage there, uses the watch out Eve. I don't think that's what you should have done, because Nasus gets the kill, and in the mid lane, Jammer's able to pick up a nice charm there onto Anna. Anna's trying to play this one out the best they can, using the Zen Blade to create some space, but the ult charges are there for Jammer. Jammer's gonna be able to pick up a double kill here in the mid lane, and out of nowhere, once again, Coinflip Patrol flips it on their head. Everything is coming up their side.
It's all falling apart for Conduit Gremlin right now. I do not know why we woke up that Nasus after the sleep, and Ammonarch was able to just walk out after the sleep came down. Nasus would not be able to chase you down, but they just wanted the W sweet spot damage because it looks so good, and they get exploded for it. And these leads that we talked about, Narva struggled a little bit in the early lane, but started to build that lead back, and May had a 2-kill lead in bot lane. All of a sudden is gone, and Conduit Coinflip climbed themselves 4K up.
They're looking for another play onto the World here. The Swirl Seed has connected. Right now, the World has no way to get out. They're playing around this one well, making sure they don't give them way to use that ultimate to take anybody over the wall. Pathmaker is going to be used once again. Mr. Lean is here, but now he pulls Narva away, and it doesn't matter because he's still in a very bad spot here. Going to fall down. Who are they going to choose to give it to? Getting a lot of damage back onto Ammonarch. The shield has to use there, but it's going to be Narva picking up that kill. Almost very close. Ammonarch almost falls down down here. Now he's going to pop the Rift Herald bot lane for his top laner. But you can see Killer Fox and Mr. Lean are here. They were looking to stop this one. It might not even get the first charge in onto this turret at this point in the game. So maybe if Narva is willing to risk his life to get the charge, it's worth it. But it's just going to fall down. They're not going to be able to pick up their first turret just quite yet on the side of Gremlins. And now May could actually be in a very bad spot here. Jammer going to use the ultimate in, waits to use the charm. It lands, and Jammer's going to pick up that kill. Even though Hayden uses the ace in the hole, still going to be picked up by the Ari. Very well played by the side of Conduit Coinflip.
Yeah, maybe just getting a little bit too cocky on the mid wave, looking for the shove. Ari was able to find the flank behind her, and there's no escaping that Ari when that spirit rushes up. Ace in the hole just on top, just in case somehow May was able to magically escape, but there truly was no hope. And now you see a little bit of control. GVG trying to do his best, get a little bit of plates in the top side after that play, but there's really no safe place on the map here right now for Gremlins. All tier 1 turrets are down, and if we look at the vision on the map, it is lit up like a Christmas tree for Coinflip.
Yeah, and I mean, you would look at this game with all 3 tier 1 turrets being taken on the side of Conduit Gremlins, and you'd be like, oh, clearly Coinflip got the grubs this game. And the answer is no, Gremlins are the one who got that. They got the first 2 dragons. It's an Infernal Soul as well, and Conduit Coinflip has full control of that side of the map right now. So if they fully stack an Infernal Soul on this composition, that is kind of disgusting for the side of Coinflip, but I don't think Gremlin's going to let that one go away. We can see them starting to group up here. GVG is trying to get that recall off to be able to come with the team. As we can see, Narva is now recalling to go up in the top lane, but Coinflip is trying to be able to pick that one off before he's able to get the reset. We'll see if they're able to, just not quite in time, as GVG goes back up into the top lane before Narva gets there, just so the world can't take the turret. But now that means they're delayed on setting up for this Infernal Dragon, so they're willing to just give this one over. They got the first 2 in the game. They're finally going to break a turret for themselves, so I do like this idea better for the side of Gremlins. Instead of forcing it in, maybe you can get a pick on the world here, and then maybe force down that top lane turret as well. We'll see how they play it. We can see on the minimap, Coinflip is sprinting immediately into the mid lane to push down on that tier 2, as all the members for the side of Gremlins had run into the top side.
Yeah, I think it's a fine play by the side of Conduit Gremlins to just give up that Drake and take the mid tier 1, but I would have liked them see them maybe go for a dive on the top lane. I know it is a Cassante, I know it's scary with how tanky he is, but you just want to push that.
Anna might just be in trouble here, gets tethered down, and the rest of the coin flippers are on their way. Anna just might not be able to get this one out unless they're going to flash for it. They do flash to break the tether and get away from the Wither. Creates just enough space for themselves, as now Ammonarch is looking to fish in this alley with the bowling ball. Could look to ult as well, but you can see Mr. Lean went first item McHale. It's a very intelligent purchase for them to be able to cleanse a key member who does get caught by that Lily asleep.
Right now, Ammonarch just wants to fight for his red buff. Please let me have my jungle. It's all I have.
All right, we'll see what happens. GVG has rotated over, but it doesn't matter. Killer Fox is going to be able to pick up that red buff and not let it go over to the side of Ammonarch. As now Jammer TP's up to the top side, so if Narva realized that, could have pushed down that tier 1, but he's actually looking to like slow play this, and now the world is going to be able to respond to him as Killer Fox taking a bit of damage there from the poke coming out from the side of Conduit Gremlins. So I mean, it's starting to go into like a lull state right now at this point in the game, because no team is willing to just coin flip Baron at this point, despite Conduit coin flip being their name, but not willing to actually coin flip in the game so far.
Yeah, we are. There's a lot of posturing going on right now, not a lot of full sends, and as Conduit Gremlins, as the team behind right now, you do want to find those little angles to where you can try to make a pick. I mean, this Nasus and Ari, both 700 gold shutdowns. So if you are ever able to find them alone, especially with that Camille ult, you could give yourself a nice chunk of change, but the question is, how do they find it? As, well, that back got stopped. Narva's going to go get the wave instead of completing the back, and now on a Gamer Girl just taking space, trying to reclaim their jungle a little bit. Ammonarch, you can see, is really scared to walk anywhere.
And a big thing to talk about is with May having that lead was up 2 items is now only up half an item on Hayden. Hayden on the Hex Optics C33, I believe is the name, or it's like C44, something like that, and has the Infinity Edge as well. So has caught up at this point. You can see the world is still two fully completed items, slightly ahead of Narva here, who's getting his way to that Ravenous Hydra. And you can see Killer Fox on 3 items, has the Deadman's, has the Trinity Force, and has the Hex Tech Proto Belt as well, which is such a massive item for Nasus, because you don't even have to pop the ult to have that survivability inside of a team fight. You can wait for... So, like, a really smart play to do as Nasus is wait for the Hex Optics to pop, and then if you press your ultimate, you get a massive HP spike and a regen on top of it. It's kind of a disgusting play if you're able to, like, time it out correctly, but we'll see if they're able to, like, slow down the pace out of Coinflip Patrol. Gremlins has, like, slowed them to a point. Really, nothing has been super claimed by them. It's going to be a fight, I believe, for this 4th or 5th dragon of the game, and put whatever team is able to claim it onto that Infernal Soul. And I don't think you want to be giving over more of these Infernal Dragons to the Coinflip comp, because they have very good pick, and we've seen how much damage Killer Fox and Jammer can already do within this game. And if they get more of those, it's just going to be harder and harder for the side of Gremlins who... Oh, GVG actually going to pick Jammer here. Jammer going to have to flash and pop the Spirit Rush as well. So GVG tried for something, almost got it, but very good response time out of Jammer J there.
I mean, I don't know if Spirit Rush is going to be up for Drake. It's going to be very close, but one thing for sure, that flash is going to stay down. So it's a great play by GVG on the side lane to blow that summoner early, making Ahri much more vulnerable on this Drake play coming up in 30 seconds. We see Narva pushing up bot lane and being hovered by 3 people of Coinflip right now. Narva may be caught here.
No, they found Narva. He's going to have to use the E to try to get away. He's already down to half HP from Killer Fox. And now Ammonarch is going to be forced away from his Raptors. He used the Smite to be able to claim it. Smite will be back for Dragon because he did have a charge in tank. And now you can see Jammer J has joined up with the team. GVG is just up in the top lane, split pushing. And I think Gremlins might just give away this Dragon. They're looking for a play mid. Narva is TPing in. GVG is now TPing as well. We'll see what happens in the mid lane, as now Narva is in on everybody, gets charmed, and he's immediately deleted. And now the world is in the backline getting so much damage as down goes Ana. GVG has to flash away. Ammonarch is being slowed up, and now it's May against the world. Ammonarch zone. May flashes away, and Ammonarch is trying to run away from Killer Fox, but there's nothing left as it's a double kill for Hayden. Ammonarch has to run for the hills. Ace in the hole finds him. The Wither finds him, and now he's just gonna be gone. Spirit Rush. Ace for the side of Coinflip Patrol.
Yeah, we see great positioning from the side of Conduit Coinflip. They took full control of the river. They caught Narva on the reset and GVG in top and just collapsed 3v5 in mid lane. Narva tried to TP in, but just TP'd on top of a Caitlyn trap. So instantly bursted down, and from there, the team fight is just completely swept. Baron's now going to be on the board. And this gold lead for Conduit Coinflip is going to go up to 7k. They are going to secure the Drake as well. So that's going to be 3 Infernal Drakes in their back pocket. Now going to be on Soul Point. Of course, next one going to spawn in 5 minutes. But I think they may be able to push for at least some inhibs before that Baron wears off. I'm hoping.
Yeah, and I mean, a big issue with Baron going over, it doesn't matter what team got Baron in this game, because both sides have such little wave clear that a Baron buff can do so much damage on either side. Like, there's, like, decent straight line wave clear on the side of Coinflip, and then Gremlins can kind of stall Baron with, like, GVG kidnapping a cannon minion, but, like, overall, there's no real, like, wave clear champion. There's no Anivia in this game. There's no, like, Zeri. There's nothing like that who can, like, very well handle clearing out these Baron buff waves. So we'll see how much Coinflip is able to get it. As we can see, 4 of them are grouped up in the mid lane, but Gremlins is already here looking for a response. GVG not going to land that scatter of the week here, and it's just the turret is already deleted. Killer Fox walks up, presses Q, and the turret is not long for this world. And now we can see Ammonarch is actually looking for a potential angle here. He's on his Raptor, or his Wolves right now, not looking to go in, just use the blast cone defensively. He's like, I got a jungle camp, that is all I needed. Not gonna force the issue right now, as now Coinflip rotating up to the top side as that wave was pushed in by Jammer J. Narva just retreating from that one. That's gonna be another turret going down, and we can see on the minimap Coinflip has the waves exactly where they need them to be, because now bot lane is going to be pushing into that turret for them. Now they can look to just rotate bot lane, take that tier 2 turret, and get even more gold for themselves and really start putting the stranglehold on Gremlins in this game number 2. We'll see if there's going to be a play to be forced here by the side of Gremlins. All right, Scatter lands on the Jammer. Jammer gonna have to use the Spirit Rush, but it doesn't matter because Killer Fox already deletes Narva from the team fight. Now he's actually trapped in the Hex Tech Ultimatum, but it doesn't matter because he's just literally regenning all of his HP. It might be a Nasus Penta as he gets the triple kill already. They're trying to set it up for him. Jammer is able to hit the charm, actually lands it onto May, and now Killer Fox is looking to go in. They're trying to get it, but the world steals it away. Hayden takes the next kill. Another ace for the side of Coinflip Patrols, and with Baron in hand, they are looking to slam the doors here on game number 2. Conduit, Coinflip Patrol, gonna win the Conduit Civil War 2-0 over Gremlins.
It only took them 29 minutes in the first game. This time they survived till 31, but the result is still the same. Conduit Coinflip showing their dominance on the day, taking out their brethren in Conduit Gremlins. They're going to be bopping up to 2-0 now. 4-0 game score. Conduit Gremlins is going to be 1-1 with the 2-2 game score. So still has a win in their back pocket, but definitely took a little pie in the face today.
Yeah, I mean, I'll say it. I wasn't sure how good this coin flip team was going to be coming into the season. I saw Killer Fox in the top lane originally with the world in the jungle, and I was like, that seems wrong. And then they put Killer Fox in the jungle, and I was like, that still seems wrong. I'm not sure how good he's going to be in the jungle. I didn't know much about their mid laner and their AD carry. Mr. Lean, I know him as a BOL admin before he started playing for this team. I wasn't sure how good he was in that support role, and I was like, I'm kind of skeptical on them. While the side of Gremlins, I was like, I know all these players. I think they're very good. I think they kind of all fit each other's play styles. I think this is like maybe the best team, the second best team we have in Blue Water Platinum. And out of nowhere, Conduit Coinflip Patrol just says, Chong, you don't know ball. Give us the respect we deserve, and kind of just like absolutely demolishes Conduit Gremlins. And with 2 drafts, I wasn't the biggest fan of personally.
Yeah, we see doesn't necessarily have to be meta. We can get creative down here. Conduit Coinflip absolutely running the rift in these games. And you said you weren't sure about how Killer Fox was going to be in that jungle. I think that Nasus game 2 was pretty good in the jungle. I think you heard me say, like, audibly gasp in that last team fight when a singular Nasus Q half chunk Syndra. Just straight up, half of her health gone with one ability. Killer Fox put on an absolute performance tonight.
Yeah, and I mean, not only did Killer Fox play good in that game number 2, I thought Jammer J had an amazing game on that Ahri as well, getting so many clutch charms, just putting out so much damage in that mid lane role to really have a second threat on the side of Coinflip. So I thought the mid jungle synergy was just really running around the rift here in game number 2 on the side of Coinflip Patrol. While Gremlins might need to go back to the drawing board, I feel like they had some good ideas, but it just felt like it wasn't clicking here tonight. This is the second time I've seen a Camille be an R5 counter pick, and I'm just like, guys, stop picking this champion. This is not the counter pick of old. It just is not a strong champion right now, please. But now I got to ask you, Pelly, for the side of Conduit Coinflip Patrol, who is your MVP here for the series tonight?
I always have to give it to my junglers. I'm gonna give the crown to Killer Fox tonight. I assume that you probably think the same, but what do you think? Who do you think deserves it?
I I think I have to agree with you because we had such doubts of the Nasus here in game number 2, and he really showed how good that champion is in the jungle. So I think he did have a very good game on the Mundo as well. Just kind of just put the fries in the bag, play the frontline tank for the team. So I think in the 2 drastically different champions, I think he performed very well. So I do think I have to give it to him as well. But also shout out to Jammer J for having a great 2 games as well. I think everybody on the side of Coinflip had a good series here tonight, but I think those 2 are the standouts for the team, and I think it is Killer Fox coming away with the MVP for the series here.
Yeah, I think we're gonna both agree on that. So we are gonna be wrapping it up here tonight. Thank you for joining us here. I think we did get traded in the middle from NACL as well. A big thank you to you guys for coming in, staying, and watching us tonight with BOL Plat content.
All right, yeah, big shout out to NACL for that raid. Also, shout out Korak for subbing in for me for game number 1 here. Shout out to our producer NGL as well in the background, pulling all the strings to make sure you guys have some great content here tonight. I've been Chung Salmo, joined by Pelly. If you've been drinking tonight, hand the keys off to somebody else, make it home safe, and we'll see you next time for Blue Otter League Platinum.